Hello, I'm Tom. It is June 25th, 2025, and I am 49 years and 12 days old. I've been thinking today about what makes a place a good place to live because I'm planning on moving next year back to Canada. And I have to admit, I've been thinking about all the things that I will have to give up. Not least of all, easy access or any access to train travel. That's just not a thing in Canada. Even our transit system, certainly in a place as large and lightly populated as British Columbia, which is where my family lives, is not particularly well connected. A lot of that has to do with population density. There is generally not the ridership that would support even thinking about implementing something like a light rail system. But a much bigger part of it is the history of North America, particularly around the motor vehicle. If you would like to know more about that, I haven't seen any, but I'm guessing YouTube has video essays about how car manufacturers basically led to the destruction of rail as a transportation option throughout North America, and also why we have so many roads and why we paid for all of them. This isn't about that. The number one criterion, the number one crit for why a city is good to live in, or why somewhere is good to live, now for me, is walkability. This isn't just for me. This became this huge thing recently about, what was it, the 15-minute city, where you should have access to anything you need within 15 minutes. Other studies have shown that a big factor in happiness is whether or not you can walk to work. That's a bit odd to me because I don't consider going to work as part of my happiness index, but I can understand why, if we take work as a given, like you have to go to work, why being able to walk there would be a big part of whether or not you were happy. Either way, being able to walk around and as a meaningful form of transportation, being able to walk to the things I need is a big part of why I think a city is a good place to live, or why a place is a good place to live. The ability to live close enough within good walking distance, not just the distance, but the paths that you would take to get to where you're trying to go, forms a big part of whether or not I think that place is good. Framed in the negative, not having to own a car is a big deal for me. That is very difficult in North America. I'm going to try it. I will try and not own a car. But that will also limit where I can live quite a bit, actually. And that annoys me because I haven't had to think about that in a long time. I haven't had to consider transportation as a factor to where I would position myself in 15 years. Can I be honest? I hate it. I hate having to think about that. And so when I think about Haarlem, when you think about the Netherlands, you probably think about cycling. And that's absolutely huge. But even if you take away the fact that the Netherlands has incredible cycling infrastructure, that's the thing that I'm thinking about the most. Can I walk to things that I want to be? Can I walk to places where I want to be or need to be? Is that journey good? I started that's like there were three things, but it's only those two. Can I walk to where I want to be, and is that journey good? That to me, I can't imagine that being replaced by anything in the top, as a top for my sense of whether or not a place is a good place to live.